Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome back to Our Wyoming Life, where today we've got a little bit different kind of video for you. We're not going to be out chasing cows around, at least I hope not. But you never know what's going to happen. Today, I'm dragging you along for a few smaller chores here on the ranch. And along the way, I thought I'd take a chance because, well, it's cold out. We're expecting 4 inches of snow this afternoon and into tonight. I thought I'd take a chance to answer some of the questions that we get quite a bit here on the channel, and especially this time of year with what we have going on. So without further ado, let's get out. And our first stop is actually going to be our heifers that we're waiting to calve. So they have about 6 days, I think, until the beginning of calving season. And they're kind of dragging along over here. So we sorted these guys off in our last video and put them here in the corrals, where we're going to kind of get them used to us walking through and checking them every once in a while. I've been checking probably at least a couple times a day right now, but the closer we get to calving, the more often we'll be out here checking these heifers. These heifers are first-time moms. They're going to have trouble calving, or if anybody's going to have trouble calving, it's going to be them. So just like to kind of get them used to me out here walking around. Right now, you can see they're just walking away from me. But I do want to get them to the point where I can walk through without them getting up and moving around. So it does take a few days to get to that point. We're still working our way that way, but it's a lot of fun. And you get to stare at a lot of cow cabooses. So right there, you can actually see her bag is not really filling up. That's usually one of our first indicators when we start getting closer to calving. But these are heifers, so who knows if they're going to bag up for us or not. They could just decide to have their calf one day, and that's it. They've got a calf. So out walking around these guys. I do have something really cool that's coming up, and I hope that you're able to subscribe to our newsletter. Go to the website, subscribe to the newsletter there. There's a chicken in here having a fit. Subscribe to our newsletter. We are actually running a little contest where you get to go and guess which one of these heifers are going to be the first ones to calve. If you do win and you select the first heifer out here to win, you're going to automatically get 10% off any apparel on our website. Then we're going to take all of those guys, all of you that actually selected the correct heifer, which is going to be the first heifer, and you get entered into another contest. The grand prize drawing is for $100 worth of apparel, Our Wyoming Life apparel on our website. So make sure you sign up for our newsletter. We'll be sending out a link so that you can guess within the next couple days and get your bets down. So calves, heifers, we're just waiting for them to calve. We got to kick some water on for them. Their tank in here is empty. Somebody remind me to come and shut it off before we're done. You guys coming in to get a drink? Come on in. So the first question I already answered. When does calving start? Well, could be any minute now. Could be tonight. Could be tomorrow. Could be next week. We're not exactly sure, and we're always waiting for that first calf to hit the ground. It's a very exciting time here on the ranch. Another question that came through here recently, especially with the last video where I'm out here working cows by myself, was the question of why are you working cows by yourself? Erin is here, Carrie's here, the kids, well, if they're not in school, they could come out and help. Honestly, sometimes it's just, and you can ask anybody who's worked cattle, sometimes it's just easier to do it by yourself. I'm not totally out of communication. If something does happen, I do get hurt or something like that, I do have a radio right here. People do know where I'm at. Obviously, they can come out and check on me if they don't hear from me for a while. So it's not like you're never totally on your own, but it is kind of nice sometimes to just be by yourself. And right now we're by ourselves in the corrals here. But we're not totally by ourselves. Another question we've been getting a lot of here lately is, where is Ethel and what is Ethel doing? Ethel's our miniature donkey, and we're still waiting for her to have her foal. Although we did have her looked at here a couple days ago, and it looks like it is dropping. So that's a good thing. She's carrying a lot lower than she was previously, as you can tell. And so that could mean that we're anywhere from a month to 6 weeks away from her having that thing. We're hoping that it happens sooner than later. We do have the 30 and 30 coming up, and that's been another big question that I've seen rolling all over the place, is when does the 30 and 30 start? That's a good question. It starts the 29th of March. And the reason we're starting it a little bit off, we usually, I think last month it actually began right at the beginning of April, well, it is because we want to have the 30 and 30 end right at the weekend on a Saturday. I think it's a Saturday, so that we can actually have our 24-hour live stream take place on the weekend, and it doesn't screw up anybody's day, and hopefully nobody has to take the day off from work to hang out with us for 24 hours straight of ranching in Northeast Wyoming. Looking forward to the 30 and 30. Should be a lot of fun, and well, it's going to be a lot of work too. Let's stop here for a second and take a look at my list of questions that I jotted down. So when do you start calving? Pretty dang quick. Let's see, when is Ethel going to have her baby? Pretty dang quick. And yeah, why don't you get help when working cows? I think we answered that one as well. We got a few more to answer. We got a few more chores to get done as well. And one of those chores is getting mineral out for the cows and for our backgrounding steers, which are located across the road. So we're gonna jump in the tractor here and grab some mineral tubs, weigh about 250 pounds a piece. We're gonna grab 3 of those, get them into the bucket of the tractor, and get them delivered where they need to go. To go too far, just right up in here into our storage shed. We have our FBN lick barrels. You can check them out on FBN.com. If you're not an FBN member, just go sign up. It's totally free, but it definitely, buying these lick barrels saved us about 50% of what it would have cost us to buy them in town at Tractor Supply or something like that. So definitely a huge savings with FBN on these lick barrels, but they really didn't make them any lighter. 250 pounds, they're heavy. I hate moving them around, but it's one of those things that just has to be done. All right, let's see if these are frozen down. Of course they are. Those ones are anyway. Maybe these ones aren't. Nope, these ones are not frozen down. Ah. Heavy, heavy. Heavy. Come on. 2 down. All right. All 3 of them loaded up there. And I guess going back to our other question, our last question, you know, why do you have to do some of this stuff alone? It's not just working cows. A lot of what we do here on the ranch is kind of a solitary activity. Like, you know, I could have called for help and said, hey, somebody come out and help me load these lick barrels. Would have taken longer for somebody to get here, help me out and loading them up, whatever else. I could have used a skid steer. Would have had to go put the forks on. I mean, it's just a matter of just knowing that you're going to work. Some of it you're going to do by yourself. And at the same time, knowing it's not a bad thing. Let's run these bad boys out. And along the way, I'll answer another question. So I know I've spoken about it already, but we have received about 75 inches of snow so far this winter, which is actually quite a bit more than we would expect the entire winter, all the way up until May, which is probably when our last snow will roll in. So is this snow gonna bring us a good haying season? And the only way to really answer that is to say, I don't know. The snow is good. The snow contains moisture. What it comes down to is when the snow melts, what is happening? What is the temperature? Because if the ground is frozen, let's go outside. If the ground is still frozen like it is right now and all of this snow melts, it's just going to run off. It's going to fill reservoirs like this one right here in the triangle pasture. Not a bad thing. We need reservoirs. We need water in the reservoirs to get us through the entire summer, or else we're hauling water like we had to a couple of years ago. So it's a good thing if the ground is still frozen. If we thaw really fast, or slow, I guess if we thaw really fast, the ground will stay frozen. If we thaw really slow and we come out of winter very slowly, then what happens is the ground thaws along with it. All of the moisture from the snow will go into the ground, and then that helps us grow hay, which is also a good thing. What I'm really looking for is kind of a happy medium, something in between. I'm looking for some thaws that'll fill some reservoirs, and then some heavy wet snows, maybe in the spring, maybe in April, early April, late April, whenever it happens. And those thaws will actually get us our hay, get us our head start on hay. Now that's not all we have to rely on. Obviously we need rain, we need the right temperatures, and we need sunshine to make grass grow. So it's not just the snow, but the snow definitely helps. Hey, do you guys want a lick barrel? All right, we're gonna pull a couple of these lick barrels off of here. These lick barrels are full of molasses and vitamins and all kinds of good stuff. Well, the molasses is there mostly just to get the cows to eat them. But it is full of vitamins and all kinds of goodness that the cows need. They're gonna love it. There we go. Now these are 20% all-natural lick tubs containing protein, fat, fiber, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, cobalt, copper, iodine, selenium, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin E. So all kinds of good stuff in there for these cows. We'll make some happy cows. We still have one lick barrel left. We are actually going to take that across the road. We're going to drop it off for the backgrounders. But first, we're going to take a little detour so we can take a look at some hay. Not that hay, although they are trying to steal it from the back of the Hustler feeder. The hay I'm talking about is in the hay yard, because one big question we've been getting here is, how do the hay reserves look? Do we have enough hay to make it to wherever we need to go? Here we are. This is our hay reserve that's got to last us until haying of this year, 2023, which will take place in June. So we have roughly 32 bales in each stack. So there's 6 stacks here and about 8 bales over there. So that's about 200 bales. Each one of those bales weighs about 1,300 pounds, so 130 tons. And I know that we average about 1 bale a day. So we should have 200 days, which should get us well into July of feed. This will keep us going not only for the cows, but also for the backgrounders, which we're gonna go see next, the A team and the B team. We got to make sure they all have food. So I think that we're pretty good on hay. The big question is, again, if we're going to have hay this year. We're supposed to be coming out of the drought that we're in. If this snowfall is any indication of that, we're looking pretty darn good. At least I hope so. So hay reserve is fine. 200 days of hay left here on the ranch. So you'd think that having the feedlot would be taking a lot of hay from the cows, which it is, honestly, but not as much as I thought it was going to. With the feeding of grain in the feedlot, obviously we're taking a good chunk of that into grain that we don't have to feed with the hay. But still, it did increase our requirements for hay throughout the year. And as the herd continues to be rebuilt, because that's kind of in our future here, obviously with the reduction of the herd size, we have to start rebuilding the herd size, and that's going to drive our need for hay up as well. So while it's nice to see all this hay in the hay yard, it's definitely not anything that's guaranteed on the ranch, but we hope that it continues. Fingers crossed. There's those cows enjoying those lick barrels. Nutrition, of course, vitally important to the cows, but not only the cows. I just ran over a big old snowdrift. Also, the feedlot. Nutrition cannot be ignored over there, even though we are just feeding those guys up. We're trying to get them as big as we can, as fast as we can, but we can't ignore their basic needs, and some of those basic needs are not that hard to take care of. It's just a matter of putting a little bit extra work and spending a little bit extra money. In fact, Erin and I were just running the numbers today, and our heifers that we're going to be our replacement heifers, which are the 1-year-old calves that we're going to be breeding this year, we need to get some more weight onto them also. So we are going to be having to spend a little bit extra money and picking up some supplementary feed for some of the cows in the herd. Now that may just mean a little bit extra cake, or it could mean creep, COB. I haven't quite figured out what exactly we're going to do there yet, but it's one of those things that has to be done. We want our heifers to weigh about 800 pounds when they're bred. So to get them to that point, we're going to have to put a little bit extra food to them. So a lot of the feed that we end up feeding here in the wintertime, especially the hay, is kind of a maintenance ration. It's definitely not really high in protein. It's not going to make them grow. We don't use any steroids or anything like that with our cattle. So we're really just depending on the grains that we feed them to help them grow. So while it would be easier if we pumped them full of steroids and everything else, doing it this way can cost a little bit more and can also take a little bit extra time. And that's one thing we're going to be tracking, and I hope that you guys are able to follow along as we do so, is the weight of those replacement heifers and making sure that they are the correct weight. We are going to be reusing our heifer bull from last year. We call a heifer bull is just a term that we use. A heifer bull is a 1-year-old bull. This year we are actually going to be reusing LOL, who is last year's heifer bull, on our heifers, and he'll be 2 years old. So he'll be a little bit older, but hopefully he's not too much for those girls to handle. So over here, we are just coming over here to our feedlot. This is the B team and the A team. Another question that I had was, what happened to number 4? We're going to stop by and take a look at that little turd here in just a second. But first, we are going to drop our lick barrel over the fence. And this is the first time I've done this. It's a plastic lick barrel, so hopefully it doesn't break. We're going to try to be as gentle as possible. Well, it fell out. Oh, and it just landed right there like that. What do you think? There you go. Have at it. Super important for us right now to keep these guys in the minerals, keep them as healthy as possible, and allow them to grow as we need them to. Our last question for the day. What happened to number 4, the old the fence walker? This is the A team here. Number 4 is still located over here with the B team. Has not been released from cow jail yet, but maybe soon. Where is the little turd? Where is he? Where is he? There he is. You knew we were looking for you. Number 4 cannot escape any longer. Thank you to everybody though that did watch the feedlot cam on our website, ourwyominglife.com. You can actually watch these guys. Yeah, I got a ton of emails when he did try to escape. People said, hey, he's out again. Well, now he can't go anywhere. While you're on our website, I'm going to remind you again to sign up for the newsletter. Here within the next couple days, we will be sending out a link for you guys to click on, and you can choose the heifer that you think is going to calve first. There's pictures of them. You can take a look at them, see what you think. And if you guess right, you get 10% off any apparel purchase on our website, and you get entered in for the grand prize drawing, which is $100 worth of merch from the website that you get to pick. It's a $100 gift card that you get to go nuts with. So make sure you sign up for the newsletter, get that done. Thank you very much for giving me a little bit of a break today. We did get the lick barrels put out, which is definitely what we needed to do, but also kind of wanted to catch you guys up on some of the most asked questions here on the ranch and what's going on. So I'm gonna head inside. I didn't wear my bogs out here. I'm wearing cowboy boots, so my toes are a little cold. I'm gonna head inside and warm up a little bit, and we'll see you next time right here on Our Wyoming Life. You thought I forgot, didn't you?